what is going on? Hope everyone's having a good fun for Tuesday. But I am out here taking care of this yard. You guys have seen it before, of course. This is a small little granny yard, but I just finished aerating, and I didn't get any footage here because I've shown it like this last spring and the last fall and the last spring, and I didn't think it was like But what I did want to say is I wanted to give a quick reminder to all the ninjas. Every time you're aerating, dust. Every time you're aerating and overseeding, if you're using any kind of fertilizer, make sure when you're blowing off that you get all of it as best to your ability that you can off of the concrete. And I'll tell you why. If you don't, and you let it sit there on the sun, it will stain the driveway or the walkway. Okay, so it's really important, ninjas, when you're done with everything, overseeding, fertilizing, liming, whatever it is that you put out, everybody's different. Make sure when you are finishing everything and blowing off, you get everything off the walkways and driveways the best that you can. If you don't, you're gonna stain the driveway and the walkway, and you will have customers calling you. You don't want that, do you, ninjas? Of course not. So anyway, I just thought I thought about that as I was blowing off, and I was like, oh, that's a good thing to remind the ninjas, because I'm sure a lot of you know this, but if you don't, to some of you who may be just now getting into aeration, you want to keep that in mind. Even with seed, now seed is not going to hurt it, of course, but why would you want it out on the walkway or the driveway? It's not going to do any good. It's better to blow everything back into the yard, so that way that particular seed that you blow back into the yard could be the one that's going to root and have healthy, nice grass growing. So anyway, I thought I'd share that with you. We're off to the next one. Today I've been doing a little bit of mowing and a little bit of aerating. I've done a couple I haven't recorded, and I was going to do it here, and then I'm like, I've shown this yard before. So, and then also the customers came and I was chit-chatting with them, but then they went inside and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna even worry about the camera. But I do have a couple more, so maybe I'll get some footage there, and then maybe I'll get some footage of the mowing. I'll see, I don't know. But anyway, that's something I wanted to share with you. One of the things I wanted to talk about today is some of the strangest things. So we're kind of going onto this whole little strange cycle of, because last night's video, if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. It's a strange request or an unusual request by customers. And then in tonight's video, I want to talk about some of the most strangest ways customers have offered to pay for their service. This one has topped them all off. This is one of the worst ones I have ever had, and luckily it didn't happen to lawn care, but it did happen to the tree guys of mine. That they were doing a tree and we were cutting a tree, and we did a lot of tree work, and it was a lot of money. And when everything got done, this customer came out and offered me something that stunned me, something that I'd never saw coming or thought I'd ever experience. You want to know what it is? Of course you do, but we're going to go ahead and go on first and knock out some of this other stuff and maybe get some footage for you, and I'll let you know what the heck that is. But let me tell you, you will come across a lot of strange things in your business, from requests like I talked about last night, some of the strange and unusual requests customers can give you, but also payments. People will try to pay you in ways that is more than just money, which should be the only way that they try to pay you. But people will try to also, you know, do some exchanges. They'll say, hey, can you do this for me? And I've got an old push mower or blower or trimmer that I don't use anymore, and you can have it. So that's another way that they will try to, you know, repay the debt. But this one is one of the worst ones ever, and it's crazy. Yes, it's also got to do with sexual. Anyway, it was crazy. But anyway, all right, I gotta go. We'll see you at the next one maybe, and then we'll chit chat a little bit more, because it's a bit of a story, so I'm not trying to like drag it out, but at the same time, I'm not gonna sit here for another, and now that I'm done, and I don't want to, you know, my customers be like, what the heck's he doing? So I'm gonna get out of here, but we'll talk about it. Stay tuned.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
All right, ninjas, it's a wrap. Small little granny yard, nothing to it. I didn't record when I was overseeding and stuff. It's just me going back and forth with the spreader, but just another yard done. I think this is gonna be the last one of the day. It's getting pretty dark and figured I'd go ahead and finish it here, showing you guys what I have with me. Obviously today, the Toro aerator, the Z3X, and then I brought the 52 right just in case. But yeah, that's it. It's a wrap. Not too bad, you know. I think I aerated 3-4 yards, a little over $1,000, so not too bad. And then I mowed 2 or 3 yards, so it's a pretty good day. Pretty good day. Easy money, nothing to it. It's one of the reasons I keep saying everybody can do it, and you'd be crazy not to. So yeah, but this is the Shindawa spreader. I've got 2 of them. I've had them now for a couple of years. They're doing fine. I actually need to grease them. I haven't greased them in a while. And here are the grease points. Well, they're on the other side, but they're on here. There's 2 of them. I gotta grease both of them. And that's another thing with the Ferris here. Ferris has quite a bit of grease fittings, so I'm gonna have to, I mean, I see one right there. So I'm gonna have to grease them, which is fine. I actually have a perfectly good grease gun that I haven't used in a while. It's a DeWalt. It's a battery powered grease gun. It's a beautiful gun. I just haven't had the need. I bought it right as I was getting rid of the scabbers, and then I ended up parting ways with them, and I didn't need it anymore because the Wrights don't have any grease fittings, but the Ferris does, and I'm pretty sure the Toro does too. I haven't checked. I'm being circled, ninjas. Being circled. All right, let's get in the truck and I'm gonna tell you what some customers might try to do in a form of a payment. How about that? Okay, so you'll have all kinds of customers, of course, as you're growing your business, and some of them will try to pay you in very, very different types of way. From trying to, like I mentioned earlier, to maybe offer you something that they don't use anymore, you know, a piece of lawn care equipment, you know, that push mower, you know, trimmer, blower, whatever. And they'll try to use that in a form of a payment, or hey, could you do some shrubbery work, and I have this push mower I don't use, you know, stuff like that. So be ready for that. And that's obviously, I wouldn't call it professional, but it is your option. You know, if it's something, a piece of equipment that maybe you see use and you need it, then that's between you and the customer. I personally wouldn't recommend it ever, just because it opens the doors for that customer to always try to offer you something except money, and you don't want that. You want to be able to get paid for what it is that you're doing, the service that they have requested. So that's that. But you'll also come across customers who are going to try to offer you a little bit more than just equipment. They'll try to offer you some inappropriate stuff, okay? Whether it be a sexual favors, or you know, we can do that, or a dinner or a lunch or something like that. So really be aware of it, and just make sure that you're preparing yourself, because it is always something, a possibility that could happen. So what happened to me was we had a tree job. It was actually like a big two trees kind of side by side. It was a pretty big tree job. I think it was about $2,000-3,000, and she agreed with the price and all that good stuff, and we took care of the job. Well, once we got done, she wasn't home. So she said, I'm sorry I didn't leave a payment. I knew you guys were finishing today, but it kind of just, I forgot all about it. I'll be there tomorrow. You want to come by and pick up the money. I said, okay, yeah, that's fine. Even though I hate doing that, it's one of the reasons why I'm payment at the time of service, but I've already made plenty of videos on that. So the next day, long story short, I went out there, and this was a single, middle-aged, very attracting lady. And she was very nice by all means throughout the whole process of taking care of that job for her. So when I went over there to pick up the payment, she said, hey, can I ask you a question? And so I noticed she didn't have a check on her or anything like that. And I said, yeah, what's up? She said, I thought maybe it was something work related with the job. Maybe we missed something. And she said, hey, you're a very attracting guy. And I was like, it really took me off guard. And I'm like, okay, thank you. She said, so I just wanted to, I've got a pool party with a couple of girlfriends going on tomorrow night, and I wanted to see if you would be interested. Now, for a second when she offered that, I thought maybe she was just trying to be friendly because she found me attractive and wanted to maybe just invite me to the party. And it was a little bizarre, a little odd, of course, but I was just like, oh, well, that's very kind of you, but thank you, but I've got a lot going on, and which I really did and always do. So I was like, I appreciate that, but I can't, I've got so much going on. She said, well, is there a day that you can, maybe this weekend or something like that, if tomorrow doesn't work for you? And I'm like, where are you going with this? I'm just curious. She's like, well, you've done a lot of work here, and my budget is really tight, which she didn't tell me that, obviously, when we agreed on the price. So I wanted to see if I can maybe write you a check for $1,000, I think, or something like that, or $1,500. This was a while back, so bear with me. And I wanted to see if you would want to join me and my girlfriends in a little one-on-one with all of us, me and my girlfriends, and just you, to the party to make up the difference. So I already knew where this was going at that point, right? I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing here. You're trying to get me to invite me to this party with you and your little girlfriends, to obviously do whatever she had in mind, and of course to make up for the difference in whatever the balance would be left after she would write me that $1,000 or $1,500 check. I was stunned. I was shocked, of course, not expected. And I had to respectfully just decline. I said, I'm really sorry, but I'm not interested. So I've had other requests, that are kind of strange. Like I said, would you like a push mower or a trimmer or this? But that was one of the most strangest ones and most inappropriate ones I have encountered. So just be ready for that. Long story short, of course, I declined. I said, I'm sorry, but the balance is this. I'm not interested. I really appreciate you. I was like, it means a lot to me that, you wanted to invite me, and I was trying to be as polite as possible. And she was okay with it. She was like, okay, well, worth the try. Doesn't hurt, right? I'm like, no, doesn't hurt at all. Worth the try for sure, but I'm not interested. So anyway, be ready for that. There's all kinds of things out there, and all kinds of people will try to offer you forms of payment, inappropriate, and even if they are appropriate to them, it may not be to you, which is offering you a mower or a trimmer. But that, again, those things, it's up to you. I wouldn't recommend ever accepting anything else besides of what you agreed. And it's funny to me because they catch you at the end when the job is complete. Now, it's a little bit of a different story if they approach you as you're quoting the job and they say, hey, how much would you charge me for this? And then you give them a price, and then they say, well, before I agree with it, you know, I have this push mower that I'm not using. It's practically brand new. And would you consider maybe a form of a payment in taking that, or maybe a down payment, depending how big the job is or whatever. And so I think that would be a little bit more polite and better, because at that point it gives you an option to say yes or no. And if you guys don't have an agreement, then you both part ways. But it's really, I think, rude once the job is complete, then they try to come at you with this or that. Well, why didn't you mention that in the beginning? Why are you mentioning that now once the job is done? We agreed on such and such amount with money involved, not sexual favors or pieces of equipment. Anyway, ninjas, I hope that's helped you guys. Again, this is really beneficial, I think, for anybody, but especially for someone who might be just coming into the business and industry. You will come across all kinds of characters, and be ready for that. And my recommendation to you would be stay as professional as you can, regardless of how shocked you may be or unexpected, right? Just stay as professional as you can and decline respectfully, and just request that they pay for whatever the service was and the amount that it was. So, anyway, I'm out of here. Hope you guys had a good Thunder Pump Tuesday, and Whack-A Granny Wednesday's around the corner. I haven't checked if they have changed anything or not, but from last time I checked, Thursday is still calling for rain, but that might have changed. I don't know. But we'll see, ninjas, tomorrow, and I think tomorrow we're going to do a little bit more mowing, and I can't remember if I need to bring an aerator with me tomorrow or not, but so far it's been a good week. Just been Cadillacing right along. So take care. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you at the next one. Peace.